Paul Cornell has been one of my favourite writers for many years. From his Doctor Who novels and TV episodes, to his own novels and comics, he always manages to blend big science fiction ideas with a uniquely British sense of humour. His work on Saucer Country was perhaps inspired by the X-Files guides that he co-wrote back in the 90s, Extreme Possibilities, which tried to piece together the backstory behind the TV show. And Saucer Country explores similar territory. The main character is Arcadia Alvarado, Governor of New Mexico and presidential candidate. This was written back in the time when it wasn't just old white men who could become president. At the start of the book, she has a strange experience that leads her to believe she may have been abducted by aliens. And she spends the rest of the book trying to work out what really happened, while simultaneously running for president. With her are sceptical campaign advisor Chloe Saunders, who looks a lot like Felicity Smoke from Arrow, UFO expert Professor Kidd, who starts seeing strange things himself, and her ex-husband Michael, who's been seeing fairies since childhood. Together they investigate many layers of UFO mythology, from Men in Black, to reptilians, to greys. And like the X-Files, there is a complex web of conspiracy and obfuscation to get through before they can find the truth. As a reader of 14 times, this is all very much my kind of thing. UFO mythology has become less popular since the X-Files, and this is a good way of bringing it back for a modern audience. The central mystery is really just an excuse to explore the various types of UFO encounters that have been reported over the decades, and the various explanations that have been put forward. Like the best X-Files episodes, equal weight is given to skeptics and believers alike, but there's always enough loose ends left over to make you wonder what's really going on. And Ryan Kelly's artwork is excellent throughout, with plenty of detail in the everyday political sections, but wildly imaginative in the more experimental parts. And his covers are excellent throughout. Saucer Country has had quite a complex publication history. It began in 2012 as a Vertigo series, but that was cancelled after 14 issues. They had a decent enough conclusion, wrapping up most of the major storylines, but leaving the bigger mysteries for later on. Then in 2017, the sequel series, Saucer Country, came out from IDW. This was cancelled after 6 issues and ended on a massive cliffhanger. Finally, last year, the crowdfunding site Zoop ran a campaign to publish the complete collection, which I have before me now. This contains all 20 issues, plus a new final instalment to wrap up the whole story. It's a beautiful collection, published on lovely thick paper. It's got a 2-page forward by Paul Cornell at the start, and at the back there's a gallery of varied covers by various different artists, as well as a list of backers, including myself. You can't buy it through Zoop anymore, but Paul Cornell's newsletter did say that there are plans to publish a wider run of the complete volume, so more people can get their hands on it. Until then, you would have to track down copies of the 3 trade collections, but the final issue itself is being reprinted on its own next week through Image Comics, just to make it more complicated. The final issue itself is not perfect, having to explain everything and wrap up the story in just 22 pages. But it does bring the story to a decent conclusion and provides closure for those of us who've been waiting years for it. And who knows, maybe one day it will be turned into a movie or TV show. It certainly deserves a wider audience. Well, thanks for watching this video. I don't do many comic reviews. I read most of my comics in digital form, but when I get a nice collected edition, I do like to show it off. So check out the link in the description for some of my earlier comic reviews. And I'll see you next time.